I don't think we have to look very far to see the fact that we are a nation that is absolutely surrounded by miracles. We are people that are above nature. Sometimes even in the day and age in this war that we've seen behind us, maybe even Nisim Guluyim, open miracles. A ballistic missile falls on a hospital, completely destroys it, flattens it to the ground, and suddenly we find out that literally 24 hours before that, a day before that, it was completely evacuated. The whole entire hospital was removed. Another till falls directly on a building, and there weren't a crazy amount that fell on directly on a building. It fell on a building that was meant to be demolished soon. They did the job for us, and therefore there was no one there. Another one fell on a house that was completely destroyed, and everything fell to smithereens except for the Shabbat table that stood above. Another one falls in Bnei Brak, and it fell in what we call Shetach Patuach, in an open territory where there's no building. I don't know if anyone's ever been to Bnei Brak, but it is the most populated city in probably the whole entire world, or almost the whole entire world. When you ask what they build between one building and another building in Bnei Brak, it's a building. There is no empty space in Bnei Brak. People who are bald, who don't have any hair, don't walk through Bnei Brak because they're worried they're going to see open space and build on top of it. Where did that till fall? I don't know, but somehow, Baruch Hashem, it did not land on any buildings. And that is just a number of the small miracles that, of course, we are exposed to here. I'm sure most of us might even know about it. And I'll tell you something that you don't know, that someone who spoke to Derry, Derry was the head of Shas, had a direct conversation with Netanyahu, and he privately personally told him that he can't believe the miracles that happened. He, in his wildest dreams, would never imagine that we would have been able to accomplish everything that we did, and he said it must be something Eloki. It is something that comes godliness. He has no doubt and doesn't deny it even a bit, because he himself didn't expect to have such results. But there's another nakuda that I want to mention, which is even over and beyond this idea, and that is that yes, we are people that live by the miracle, but I also want to mention we are people that have tzarot or even die by the miracle. We can have many difficulties, struggles, and pains, but they are above nature. They're sometimes even unexplainable. We are people that are created through miracles. Sarah didn't have a womb. Rivka did not have a womb, besides the elderly age of Sarah of the time. We were created by a miracle. When we came out of Mitzrayim of 210 years of a Kur Barzil, nobody ever would have survived it. And here we are today to speak about it year after year. And I don't have to go through the history, because I'm sure we're all familiar with the Holocaust, the pogroms, the terrorist attacks, and all the crusades, and all the uncountable amount of terror that we have been surrounded by on our age. In other words, that it's not only all the Yeshuas, all the good things and the salvations that we've experienced that are above nature, but yes, even if I can say the problems or the difficulties that we've gone through are also something of the nature that's above nature. And that's what it says in Parshas V'ezchanan, Ki shalnai leyamim harishonim. Anybody can ask, and you'll say lefanecha asher bara Elokim adam min haaretz. Ask anyone from one end of the world, Hashemam kol am, that people could hear the words of Hashem, and Nisa Elokim lavo lekachet lo goy mikirav goy. It's such a miracle that it happened by us, by Yetzias Mitzrayim, or by being in Mitzrayim, or B'Melchama, or B'Yad Chazakah, or B'Zor Netiyah. All the things that we went through are obviously, and with no doubt, a walking miracle, meaning the survival, but also the tzaras themselves. Something that's almost unexplainable. Ad kedei kach that the Ya'avatz, that is Rav Yaakov Emden in his Siddur, when he goes and he speaks about the fact that we've been around 2,000 years surviving the terrible pains and things that we've gone through, he says, Chaye Nafshi, he makes an oath. He makes an oath, Chaye Nafshi, that when I think into all these niflot ha'ela, the fact that we survived, and these incredible niflot, gadlu etzli, these are bigger to me than all the nisim and niflot she'asa Hashem yitbarach le'avoteinu Mitzrayim. It's bigger than anything we saw in the desert, in Mitzrayim, in Eretz Yisrael. All the things that we read about in the 24 books of Tanakh, he says, Kol Masha is nothing compared to the 2,000 years that Kol Masha Ma'arechet Galut Yoter, and as long as the Galut experience continues, Ne'emenet v'noida ma'aseh tokva v'gvurato. We see greater and greater the incredible protection, the nisim, the niflaot that the Jews are surrounded us. Having said that, the incredible miracles that we're protected with, but also the incredible miracles that we go through, meaning that our sicknesses are almost above teva, they're unnatural, they're unprecedented, like any other country can ever, or any other people have ever seen. I want to go into our present day and age and the current events, what we have seen. The fact that we are sitting here in this country for 80 years, and we're really here longer than 80 years, but with all these crazy people that are surrounding us, people that have absolutely no qualms and no quims about killing themselves only in order to remove us in any type of way, from inside and outside. We have them from within us in Israel, from an Gaza, Yehuda Shomron, as we're all familiar, the West Bank, and we have it from all over us without needing to go through all the countries that are out to get us. And still, if we lose one battle, we know that it's end the game. We only have one man in this. We don't have three lives like a nice game that we might play, a nice arcade game. No, we only have one life. Kadosh Baruch Hu has protected us. He's given us a tzlocha in each one of them. Baruch Hashem. And I have to tell you, so many times it's my fault. I make mistakes sometimes. I always think, Higanu la'nachala. We came to the end. We've come to there. We've reached the finale. And suddenly, after reaching there, we think we're there, and we have to come to a halt, to a stop. We're told that we're just not allowed to continue. Do you know why the 6-day war was 6 days? You want to know really why? Because you think it ended after 6 days? No, because we were told that we have to stop after 6 days. We were so unbelievably successful. Nobody, including ourselves, believed we could accomplish as much as we did. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's hand was directly involved. I don't have to explain. But after 6 days, the UN and the world said, stop, enough. Too much carnage. Stop it. What are you doing? Give it up. Let bygones be bygones. What? Okay, so Beseder, so 5 countries were about to smother you, eliminate you from existence, and we never said one word. Suddenly, when we are succeeding, suddenly everybody starts to speak up, unfortunately. Here we were in Gaza. We literally cleared up Hamas. They were made of 30,000 people with a tremendous amount of heads. All of the heads were eliminated, more or less. And close to 30,000 of the Hamas Rashayim were basically killed. And yes, they are reverberating themselves with inexperienced amateurs, and we still can't get a hold of them. And here they are discussing presently, as we speak, that we're going to come hopefully to an end to this ridiculous war. No, it's not ridiculous, it's war that was necessary, that we needed to do in order to be able to finally come to an end. And they're not necessarily speaking on their lips of ridding Hamas forever, just kind of being quiet, don't act up anymore, and stop it. And of course I'm leading to the pshara, the ceasefire that President Trump decided that we should do. Now, before that, I want to mention something important. Last week, I spoke about President Trump, and yes, I have to admit that I was a little bit strong, which is unbecoming of my personality, and I was doing it because people were dying here left and right, and a few more American planes would have saved a number of people, because we knew where the launchers were at that time in the first few days, and we were trying desperately to try to get rid of them as quick as possible before all the destruction that was happening in the country. When I see my poor brethren that are dying, it is very painful to know that when there are American planes sitting there and could do the trick, and they didn't. And yes, that's why it was a little bit upsetting. Baruch Hashem, Ashreinu, we have to have a karat tov. We are a Jewish people that always have a karat tov to people that help us, and Donald Trump has helped us tremendously. Yeah, I'm one little peg in a thing. I'm obviously not anyone that anyone's focusing on, but we have to have a tremendous karat tov for what he has done and for the fact that he has backed us up and helped us in this war. There's no question, probably from all the presidents that have been around, he has been the most behind Israel from the beginning. There is absolutely no question. Ronald Reagan was pretty good, but more or less, from any other president that's been around. He's been behind us, and we have to have a karat tov. The nukuda I was trying to mention, and I'm kind of mentioning it here again, is twofold, two just important points. First of all, when we put our full trust in him, especially when people comparing to Mashiach, all right, we'll leave that on the side, but put full trust in him. You can't be boter ben devim. You can't be boter b'bnei adam, because in the end of the day, especially when we're dealing with someone who is a goy, they end up doing it for their own personal interests, and their personal interests are what's happening. And that's really the second point, and it's just an important point for us to realize, especially when we thought that we're sitting here relying on him. In the end of the day, it's coming from a point of personal interest. Baruch Hashem, he got his fingerprints on the bomb, like he himself spoke out, that he's going to make sure that he can take care of the bomb, and Baruch Hashem, it helped us tremendously, and we appreciate it. But at the same time, I do want to mention something very important. In the end of the day, to stop a war when it could have been continued, I'm not speaking by myself, this whole entire country, many people, I'll speak about the right side, maybe not the left, but the very strong right side, are very disappointed. This is very sad, and I'm telling you, I don't know him personally, but I have no question that Netanyahu himself is also disappointed. Right now, they are literally on their last legs. The people I heard, I heard recordings and speeches from amongst them. They said it's time to usurp them. I don't know if people understand. Yes, we spoke about the atomic bomb, whether they got it or not. Alvai, amen. That should all be in smithereens. That's not my point. The point is this: there is one sole financer of all terrorism in Middle East, and I would venture to say even in the world. I'm not going to say the world because you still have North Korea and these people, but basically in the whole Middle East, it is all supplemented by Iran. Terrorism is an expensive endeavor. It comes with paying salaries. Yes, these people actually get paid salaries. For some crazy reason, they kill themselves to get paid salaries. It comes with a tremendous amount of weaponry and bombs. Just to smuggle things in behind a country's back costs a lot of money. There's billions of dollars. Iran has spent, no exaggeration, hundreds of billions of dollars, and probably it's reached the trillions in its 40-year auspices of terrorism that is put on this planet and needs to be destroyed. They are the evil Haman that is out l'harag l'hashmin l'habed. Here we are making shalom, peace, with the absolute killer. You cannot. I don't know if you knew. One of they did it as a semel, as kind of a sign. But one of the things that Israel destroyed when they were flying over Iran is they have a big grandfather clock. You know, like Big Ben. They have a clock also in the center over there, and you know what that clock is? It's a counting down to Israel's destruction, when we will finish up Israel. They had to. Okay, it was destroyed. They might have to reset the clock. But al kopanim, they have no interest. You know, when we learn in Shalom Bayit is that if you have a couple that is not fighting, that's not necessarily means that they have Shalom Bayit. It sometimes can come from a place that they can't stand each other and they don't talk to each other. Therefore, they don't fight and they don't talk, and maybe they don't sleep in the same room either. Are you going to call that Shalom Bayit? Some people refer to that as Shalom Bayit. Okay, at least they're not fighting. That's a little bit our situation right now. Now, Baruch Hashem, we're very happy to have quiet here, but I have to tell you, even the people that were in buildings that were blown up said, it's painful, it hurts, we're going through trauma, but it's worth it. Finish them. Get rid of them. We've had it. We can't have enough of them. This is the time to do it. You realize without them, there's no Hamas, there's no Hezbollah. You have cut off the trachea, the air pipe. When they are gone, you don't need to go to the terrorists anymore. You don't need to go. However, where the Houthim? The Houthim have no money. They're in Taiman. They're one of the poorest countries in the world. It's a third world country. They get all their expenditures from one place, the terrorist-stricken place of Iran, that before this regime was there, the people are on the other side are peaceful, loving, and love Jews. They're good people, and they are suffering. I don't know if people realize, but do you know that after this peace treaty, and I don't know why they're not stopping it, they have so many people, and they do this daily, there's so many people on their hit list, that they are now going to assume that you are siding with Israel. How did Israel have so much information about us? How were they able to get as far as they did? Well, we can't do anything to Israel right now because we're stuck with our hands behind our back. So instead, they have a lineup, literally tens, if not hundreds, I don't know the exact number, of people that are going to be hanged in the next week. They're killing people one by one, assuming, and it's probably innocent people. We don't know, I don't know, none of us know. Including them, including the Iranians themselves, they don't know. And here it is. I don't know if that's called a peace treaty. That's called leaving the lion to slumber outside of the fence. He is there just to be able, now through this Persia is known as the bear, so I'll call him the bear, the ones who are causing all the tzarat. But I go back to what we said, and I'm finishing with what we started. We survive by nes, by miracles that are above Teva, and we go through pain and struggles and difficulties also that are above Teva. And this is just another one of them. It's part of our history, and that's what it is, because the Kadosh Baruch Hu decided, no, this is not the way it's going to work. It's not going to be that you're going to just quiet all the terrorism around you and you're going to live quietly and happily ever after in this country. It's not going to happen that way. Because Kadosh Baruch Hu wants these things to happen after what we did to them, and that they're on their last legs. To go ahead and stop now, I call that a miracle. It's no less of a miracle. The Siftei Chaim, Rav Chaim Friedlander makes this Lashon point very expressively, and he says we are not only surviving, but we go through the struggles. And yes, just like we stopped at the 6-day war, so this is known as the 12-day war, and Baruch Hashem, very successful. It will go in the annals of history, and we're very proud of what has been done. But the message is clear. As the Pasuk says in Hazinu, Ki adina shemamo ve'alavdav yitnachem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give us a din, we will go through trouble, but eventually the Nechama will come. When? Says the Pasuk, Ki azlat yad, ki yira, ki azlat yad, ve'efes hatzur ve'azuv. As Rashi and the Mefarshim over there expound and say what that means is when we realize ki azlat yad, when we realize our hands are tied. Azlat, we don't have any hands. As much as we try, as much as we venture, azlat yad, it's not in our reach. Ve'efes hatzur ve'azur. And it's efes, and there is no place for help. There's no place, azur, there's no other place to look for help. There's nowhere else to find help, and we are completely helpless. Then we will have a nechama. You know why? As the psukim continue over there, which is the Nevuah Atida, of course we know, Re'u says a Kadosh Baruch Hu, this is Hashem speaking, a Kadosh Baruch Hu b'chvoidu ba'atzmai. Listen to the words of our God. Re'u, watch. Ki ani anihu. Repetitive. Me. It is me. It is me. It is me. Anihu. Ve'ein elokim imadi. And there is no other koach besides me. There is no other strength besides me. Ani anihu. Hashem doesn't need to repeat himself. He says ani in every perspective. Even when we think we're doing something, and even when we don't know and we realize that it's not us. Because ein elokim adi, there are no other gods, there are no other kochot. Ani amit vechyeh. When someone dies and someone gets hit lo aleinu by one of those missiles, or when someone lives and Baruch Hashem miraculously we see him around, you should know umachatzti ve'ani arpeh. I'm the one who's going to make you feel better. I'm the one who's going to heal. I'm the one who's going to put you in a bad situation, but I'm the one who's going to take you out. Ve'ein miyadi matzil. And there's no one else that's going to do it. It is only me, eino milvado, and it will not happen. Ata reita ledat, ki Hashem Elokim ein od milvado. Ein od milvado. We are people of miracles. You know why? Because we are completely connected, affiliated to the miracle worker, the one who built the world with miracles, the one who is in charge of miracles in this world, and therefore his people are people of miracles. But that's only when we are hugged and gripped and holding on to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when we're holding on to that miracle worker, when we're part of him, when we finally get to the feeling of what Avraham Avinu himself, and Avraham Avinu was a credible military man, as we all know. He killed the 5 kings. He was the man. He was unbelievable. And what does he say? Ve'anoichi afar ve'efer. I am just dust in the wind. Dust in the wind, that's all I am. I'm just Afer, I'm ashes. He puts himself down. He's looking down himself. No. Because as we all know, the drush over there of Chazal is that without a Kadosh Baruch Hu, I'm nothing but dust. I should be dust by now. I'm living a miracle, says Avram Avinu. And that's why Avram is our forefather. That's why we are his children. Because we are a miracle people. A miracle in survival, but a miracle in difficulties. A miracle that doesn't know how to deal with it. And yes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always Mechayim Eitim, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu always resurrects us, and when we go through a difficult time like we've gone through, we come back as a Bria Chadasha, and we're there to bounce back, and we will never die. We are always here to stay, no matter who tries to chase us. But we always have to remember this idea, this concept. Please don't forget that as great as we survive with all the miracles, sometimes we have to go through tzaras in a miraculous way, because we have to start a war and stop it in the middle. It's a little bit painful to go ahead and watch Iran, who basically has endless money. You know why they have endless money? Because all their people are dirt poor. All the people in the country have nothing. The people in the government, the ones in charge, have billions of oil dollars that come from all the fuel that they give. They sell to China and Russia and all the like that they go ahead and distribute. They have an endless amount of money just to go ahead and rebuild all those ballistic, evil ballistic missiles that spread, and they spread into 5 different smaller missiles even when they get hit. The amount of carnage that they have caused in this country, L'da'avonenu, if it wouldn't have been for the miracles, it would have been, he himself said, Netanyahu said, that he expected much more casualties. So now we have to go through it again, lo aleinu, in another decade. Chas v'shalom, but it's not going to be relevant anyways, because Mashiach is here. He's on his way. Yes, we're surrounded by miracles, but those miracles are just there to harboring, to bring and introduce the great Mashiach Tzidkenu that's going to come and be one of us. The leader that comes, and he is the leader of leaders, but he loves us, and he comes because of us, and he goes and he's able to do it. And B'ezrat Hashem, we should have a tremendous Hatzlacha. We have a Karata Tov to everybody that has helped us. And B'ezrat Hashem, we also want to mention that in the end of the day, we have to give a Harakrata Tov to Ani v'Afsi, only to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Ani, Anihu.